All right, let's get right into it. We're going to tackle one of life's biggest questions, and we've got 85 years of science to back it up.
You know, it's a question we've all probably asked ourselves at some point. And if you were to just go out and ask people on the street, you'd start to notice a pattern, a really common answer. Yep. Time and time again, what do people say? Money. They point to being rich as the absolute key. It's this idea that's so deeply baked into our culture.
And look, this isn't just a hunch or a casual opinion. When researchers actually survey young people about what they want out of life, well, the numbers are just staggering.
Just look at this. I mean, it's totally dominated by that one goal. A whopping 83% of college freshmen say becoming rich is a top priority. But here's the real question, right? Is this common wisdom actually wise? Is it even true?
Well, here's the thing. All the evidence points to a pretty big problem. We're actually terrible at predicting what's going to make us happy. I mean, think about lottery winners. After that first big rush of excitement wears off, a lot of them say they're no happier than they were before. Some are even less happy. Crazy, right?
So you might think, okay, I'll just look back at what made me happy before. But that's tricky too, because our memories, they're not perfect recordings. Our brain kind of rebuilds the past. It fills in the gaps, which means our memory isn't always reliable. So if we're bad at predicting the future and we can't fully trust our memories of the past, how in the world are we supposed to figure this out?
We need a completely different way to look at it. Instead of asking people to guess or to remember, what if we could just watch their entire lives unfold in real time? Well, that's exactly what this one absolutely incredible study decided to do.
It's called the Harvard Study of Adult Development, and it is, as far as anyone knows, the longest study of its kind ever. We're talking 85 years of following the same people year in and year out.
Over that time, they've studied almost 3,000 people. That's entire generations. It all started with 724 young men from two totally different backgrounds. Some were students at Harvard, and others were from some of Boston's poorest neighborhoods. And as time went on, the study grew to include their families, their wives, their kids.
Okay, so after all that, after tracking thousands of lives, taking blood samples, doing brain scans, endless interviews, what did they find? What did all this data actually point to? What is the secret?
Well, it really boiled down to two huge things. The first one probably won't surprise you. Take care of your physical health. Exercise, eat right, the usual stuff. But the second finding, that was the real shocker. The one thing that kept popping up again and again over decades of data was this: good relationships.
And we're not just talking about a warm, fuzzy feeling. This has a real, measurable physical impact. Get this, a massive review of 148 different studies found that people with strong social connections had a 50% greater chance of survival. 50%! That's just a mind-blowing number.
And listen, this is not about being popular or having tons of friends. It's not a numbers game. In fact, the study found that being in a really high conflict relationship, like a bad marriage, can actually be worse for your health than getting divorced. The key ingredient here is the quality of your relationships. It's about how deep and secure those connections feel.
And these benefits, they go all the way up to your brain. It turns out the people in the study who reached their 80s and felt like they had someone they could really, truly rely on, their memories stayed sharper for way longer.
So this idea of quality over quantity is everything. And to really get it, we've got to break down the difference between two things that sound similar but are worlds apart: being alone and feeling lonely.
Yeah, they are not the same thing at all. Being alone, that's just an objective state. You're physically by yourself. But loneliness, that's a subjective feeling. It's that ache you get when you feel less connected to people than you want to be. It's why you can feel totally lonely in a huge crowd, but also be perfectly happy and content all by yourself.
And here is maybe the most powerful finding of the whole study. When the researchers looked back at all the data, they found that how satisfied people were with their relationships at age 50 was a better predictor of who would be healthy at age 80 than their cholesterol levels. Just let that sink in for a second. Better than cholesterol.
This lesson from a study that's been going on for 85 years has never been more important than it is right now. Because believe it or not, we are in the middle of a modern health crisis.
That's right. The U.S. Surgeon General has actually declared loneliness a public health epidemic. Something like 1 out of every 2 adults in America reports feeling lonely. And the impact this has on our health, it's really serious.
Okay, check this out. Scientists have actually calculated the risk.
And being chronically lonely is as bad for your physical health as smoking half a pack of cigarettes a day. It's on par with the risk of obesity. So this isn't just about feeling sad. We're talking about real, tangible physical damage.
And if you're wondering why this is happening, well, this trend tells a big part of the story. As a whole, we are spending way less time together. The average time we spend with friends each day has nosedived from a full hour back in 2003 to just 20 minutes in 2020.
So, what are we supposed to do with all this information? The point isn't to feel depressed about it. Actually, it's the opposite. It's to feel empowered. The researchers from the study give us a really great way to think about it. They call it social fitness.
Think about it just like physical fitness. It's not something you do once and then you're set for life, right? It's an ongoing practice. It takes regular effort, small, consistent actions. Things like making a quick phone call, going for a walk with a friend, grabbing a coffee. These are like the reps and sets for your social health. They build and maintain what might be the most important life support system we have.
So there you have it. After 85 years, the longest-running study on human happiness gives us a pretty clear answer. It's not about money. It's not about fame. It's about the small, everyday work of taking care of our relationships. So as we wrap this up, the science really leaves us with just one simple question to ask ourselves. Who is one person you can reach out to today? Because that one small action, it could be the single most important thing you do for your health and happiness for the rest of your life.